You're listening to That Music Podcast with Bryson Tarbet, the curriculum designer and educational consultant behind That Music Teacher and the Elementary Music Summit. Each week, Bryson and his guests will dive into the reality of being an elementary music teacher and how music can truly be transformative in the lives of the students you serve. Show notes and resources mentioned in this episode can be found at thatmusicteacher.com.
Hello and welcome back to That Music Podcast. I'm really excited to chat about my favorite songs for preschool music. So if you know anything about me, you'll know that I love teaching preschool, and I actually haven't taught preschool the last few years because after COVID, my schedule kind of blew up. And I'm so excited I finally have them back this year. I actually get to do an AM and a PM preschool class, and it's been so much fun already. So I wanted to share a little bit about my favorite 7 songs. I had to narrow them down to 7 songs that I use for preschool music. So I'm going to share the songs. If there's a link, I'm going to share the link, and also basically share how I use them and why I use them, what I think they're good for. So let's go ahead and get started. My first song is called Grizzly Bear. It is something I use in kindergarten, but the song goes like this. It goes, Grizzly Bear, oh Grizzly Bear is sleeping in his cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he'll be very, and I'm not going to do this part loud because it'll be like my mic will be good. He'll be very mad, and you scream or shout mad. The kids love it because they get to shout. It's also a lot of fun because for a few different reasons. First of all, really good for dynamics because you're going to be doing quietly at the beginning, and then you're going to do louder at the end when you're screaming mad. It's great for dramatic play. The game that I play with this, I'll be honest, I don't know if this is the real game. I don't know if this is a game I learned from someone else or if it's a game I just decided to do one day. But the game that I use is we have one student that kind of curls up and puts their head down and falls asleep, quote unquote, in the middle of the circle. The rest of us tiptoe around as we're singing the first part. Grizzly Bear, oh Grizzly Bear is sleeping in his cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he'll be very... And on mad, the person in the middle, the bear, wakes up and makes a scary face. And I usually tell them, we're not going to make any sound because that might get too loud. The bear's not going to growl or anything like that. But we are going to have they're going to make the scariest, or sometimes they're like, I don't want to do scary. Make the silliest face, whatever, that they can. That's great for dramatic play. It's great for dynamics. It's great for kind of tiptoeing on the beat. It's great for thematic stuff because there's a lot of stuff that goes with bears. Thinking brown bear, the book, there's a lot of different ways that you can bring that in. So that's one of my favorite ones. It's also great because when they get into it in kindergarten, they already anyone that I had for preschool will already know that song. So it's a great kind of connection between the two. My next song is kind of an oldie, and you might already know it. You probably already know it, and that's Down by the Bay. If for whatever reason you don't know it, I'm going to go ahead and sing it. It goes, down by the bay where the watermelons grow, back to my home I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, and then you come up with a rhyme, something like, have you ever seen a goose that was kissing a moose down by the bay? It's a great song. The kids love it. And honestly, not a lot of my kids know it already by the time they get to me. So I feel like I just love that song. So why do I teach this song? 1, it's just fun. 2, it's great for rhyming. Rhyming is a big thing in kindergarten. So whenever we can give them more exposure, because again, you'll say, have you ever seen a goose kissing a frog? And you're like, not quite. But having them have that practice of, goose, moose, things that rhyme, it's great for that. But it's also a great thing for prompting. That's going to come into play a lot of what I do in pre-K music. I do a lot of things that allow them to have some prompt, allow them to join in. So I might say, down by the... And a lot of them are likely going to go, bay, right? It's giving them an option. So if you stop and kind of give them the beginning of the phrase and leave out a word, they just naturally, human nature is to want to fill that in. And that's a great way to get them to sing. That's a great way to get them to verbalize, because I know a lot of preschoolers, they're either very talkative or very shy. So it's a great way to make that connection. Also, it's great for just fun. Like they might come up with some silly things like goose kissing a moose. Like that's so silly, and they will laugh. The way that I use it, I use my ukulele. It's just a couple chords. You can go through there. Down by the sea, right? It's super simple. The kids love it. And honestly, they really like doing this song. They want to do it again and again. So Down by the Bay, I know I wouldn't say it's overdone, but like you likely know it. But I promise you, the kids don't necessarily know it as well as you think they have, because a lot of them aren't taught this song. So that's where I do it. The next song is a new one for me, and I absolutely adore it. I'm going to be linking it in the show notes for this episode. The song is called Breathe. It's by Stephanie Level. If you don't know Stephanie, she's amazing. She's the music therapist behind Music for Kiddos. Again, I'll put the link in the show notes for that, because you need to check her out. She's a lot of good information. She presented at the Elementary Music Summit this past year. And this is one of those songs that I have used so much with my students, especially at preschool. It's great for, social emotional learning, for self-regulation. I'm not going to do the whole thing because one, you need to listen to Stephanie's version on Spotify because it is just gorgeous. But it's all about getting the students to deep breathe. So the song goes, breathe, just breathe, take a deep breath, and just breathe. And the whole time we're going, reach your hands up high, reach your fingers to the sky, and breathe. Just breathe. And it's one. Again, listen to Stephanie's version. It's on Spotify. I'll put the link in the show notes. It is absolutely gorgeous. And it's great for allowing the students to breathe, because that self-regulation, especially at preschool, especially kindergarten, honestly, I think any class could use this. It's a great way to remind them of that breathing. It's great, kind of like a little brain break, but it's still very musical. We're still, I still use my ukulele for this. It helps them practice kind of, slowing it down. And I love this song. Stephanie, you rock for making this song. Please give Stephanie some love, because she's amazing. Musicforkiddos.com. It's great. The next one is one that I actually learned in undergrad at the lab preschool that I worked at. So I worked at a lab preschool working with a 3-year-old classroom, the Blue Room, if you were wondering. And I worked there. And one of the things that the teacher of that classroom, I was essentially classroom aide in that. One of the things that the teacher did was once I kind of got my feet wet and kind of got into the groove, she was like, hey, do you want to do like music at the end of the day for like 10-15 minutes? And I said, well, yes, obviously. I drove down to Columbus from Delaware, Ohio, and I bought myself my first ukulele, the ukulele I still use today. And we do music class, and this is a song that she did and that I have stolen and used forever. So let's say my student's name, Kat's right here on the desk. You can't see her, but she's here. So let's pretend I'm singing to Kat. So I would say, Kat, what do you like on your pizza? And, some of them, they might have their idea. You might have to give them a choice. Like, do you like pepperoni or cheese? And then you choose, and you would say, Kat likes pepperoni on her pizza. Lots of pepperoni, pretty please. Put some pepperoni on her pizza. Don't forget the extra cheese. I love this because it gives the student choice. You can ask them, it kind of models that communication. What do you like on your pizza? I like cheese on my pizza. Okay, perfect. It's also great for prompting, especially once they know the song. She's like, lots of pepperoni, pretty. And the students all want to go, please. It kind of takes those baby steps into singing. They're kind of filling in the gaps rather than singing the whole thing with you. It allows the student choice. Some ways that I modify this, especially for my students that might be non-speaking, is having little Velcro little icons, essentially. So if they like pepperoni, they can give me a pepperoni card. Or another simple way, depending on the student, I might say, do you want pepperoni or cheese? And they touch whatever hand that they want. So if they touch this hand, they want pepperoni, and then I would sing this song. The kids love this. It's easy. It's a great way to just be silly, because sometimes, very often, you'll get one student that says something silly, and then all of them are really silly, and then you can just be like, oh my goodness, they like shark on their pizza, or they like SpongeBob on their pizza or whatever. And it's just fun. It's an easy song. Again, I use my ukulele for this. I don't use my ukulele much in K through 4 or K through 6 really, but I do use my ukulele a lot in preschool. My next song is another one that I absolutely love. I will put the link in the show notes. It is We Are the Dinosaurs by Laurie Berkner. If you don't know this song, it is just fun. I will say, if you ever see me doing this song in kindergarten, this is typically when we have like 5 minutes at the end and the kids just need to move. And I'm like, all right, what can we do? Let's do We Are the Dinosaurs. Again, I use my ukulele. This is great because it's in a minor key. It allows them to stomp. It allows them to do the dramatic play. It goes through, highs and lows and that movement. And it allows them to show that basically the type of movement that we want, right? We're not running, we're stomping, we're sleeping in our nest, we're eating our food. The chorus goes like this, goes, we are the dinosaurs marching, marching. We are the dinosaurs. What do you think of that? We are the dinosaurs marching, marching. We are the dinosaurs. We make the earth flat. We make the earth flat. It's a great one. I'll put the link into that as well. That is We Are the Dinosaurs by Laurie Berkner. Another one by Laurie Berkner that I absolutely love is The Goldfish. You might know it as Let's Go Swimming. Technically, I think it's called The Goldfish Song. It's another great one, and it goes, it's kind of the same thing, storytelling. It goes through the different phrases of movement versus non-movement. It goes, let's go swimming, let's go swimming. Yeah, let's go swimming, let's go swimming, let's go swimming at the bottom of the ocean. It's just a lot of fun. That's a great one. And the last one that I want to talk about is one that, again, I do in kindergarten and first grade music. It's Snail, Snail. If you don't know the song, it goes, snail, 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 goes around and round and round. That's the whole song. I know you are typically either pro snail snail or very anti snail snail. So if you don't like this song, don't do it. But what I love about it is, one, it's slow. We do a lot of fast songs because kids like fast, but it's just slow. It allows us to slow down. I have a snail puppet that my preschoolers love when I bring out to help them sing that song. And something that I discovered kind of by accident was this is a really good song for sensory input. So I have the students on their hand, on their palm, kind of trace a little spiral, the spiral of like the snail's shell on their hand as they're singing the song. So it's a good kind of an SEL piece, a little bit, kind of an SEL adjacent, I guess. You just sing it and go, snail, 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 goes around and round and round. And, the students are like, oh, it tickles. You can do it to their hand. You can have them do it to your hand. You can have them do it on the floor. It's another way to bring in some sensory input as well. Again, it's fun. It's a song that they get to know, that they'll get to know in kindergarten and first grade. Thank you, Kat. It's a song that they're going to get to know in kindergarten and first grade as well. So why not do double duty? I think it's great. The kids love it. And they love doing that thing on their hand. So again, I could talk for days about my favorite songs for pre-K music. So here are my top 7 songs. They will likely change. I will likely learn some more ones. If I mention any links, I'll be putting those into the show notes of this episode. I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did enjoy today's episode, it would mean the world to me if you were to leave a podcast review wherever you are listening to this on. So whether you're on iTunes, YouTube, wherever you're listening, if you could leave a review, that really helps us out, helps us understand what we want more of, how can we improve the podcast, and also helps get the podcast in front of new listeners. So with that being said, I hope to see you next week here on That Music Podcast.